So how are we rethinking education? Let's bring in Ying Lu, Associate Professor at New York University's Steinhardt School of Culture, Education, and Human Development. Ying, welcome to the show. First, we hear stories like this, and this has been the case of struggling parents with their children really across the country, and in some parts of the country where you have limited internet access, that's even become more difficult. Do we have an indication of the long-term impact that this might have on children?
Well, I mean, this is definitely because I'm a mother too. I have a 11-year-old and 7-year-old, and I see they're both suffering and struggling because with all the COVID, right, quarantine and the isolation, and also a sudden shift of learning environment. So, I mean, I'm not a child psychologist, so I really can't tell as far as the long-term impact on kids. But I do also tend to see, I think kids are pretty resilient. So on that note, right, I'm hopeful, and I see my children, they are coping with it, with their own ways. Sometimes it's surprising, you know.
Talk about some of the benefits and failures of virtual learning. What can be and should be learned now to help improve it in the future?
Well, speaking of virtual learning, so to be honest, right, before COVID, this whole concept of virtual learning or leveraging technology to develop innovative methods for teaching and learning it was not a new concept. And at NYU, I remember a number of years ago we were talking about the teaching method called flip classroom. What does that mean? Meaning professors record the teaching materials ahead of time, then students get to watch outside class. Then they bring their questions to classroom, which is very much like a teaching modality that we're using during COVID. It's like asynchronous teaching. But this method, when we were talking about teaching, flip classroom, this is supposed to be a method that would give students more like effective use of classroom time, so they can really work on, professor and the student can really work on the problems that they really, right, the students have questions with. So that's one component as far as when I look at this virtual learning, and I think it's not entirely like a COVID, a new thing, right? And also with respect to leverage on technology, people have been, at school, people have been working on this adaptive learning system, which is again to use technology and algorithms and to track students' learning and the performance data, and then to customize teaching methods that best cater students' progress and individual needs. It's kind of like a Netflix when you watch Netflix, right? And the Netflix recording your data, and then eventually it keeps recommending movies that you like. So you could actually use like the AI component to enhance teaching and learning for students.
And I imagine that the virtual element allows for variability in the types of classes that are offered. For example, if you're a Mandarin specialist, you can teach at more schools to more pods simultaneously than if you were limited by geography. Is that what we've been seeing, diversification?
Yes, absolutely. So this is also another advantage, right? The way I see, and especially I'm kind of a forward-looking person. I think ultimately, right, we're gonna have to go back when we get our feet on the ground. It's like the online learning definitely help with connectivity. Like students can, in the past, right? You can only have students who are in the same geographic location. Like take NYU as an example, we have many global campuses because of now all the courses are offered online. So we have classrooms of students from New York, from California, and then from NYU Shanghai, NYU Abu Dhabi, and many of other NYU campuses in Europe and all over the world. And they get to take classes together in the same classroom and do group projects together, which is.
When the schools reopen, is there something that you think they should keep from this year of virtual learning?
Yeah, I think this is just as I said earlier, right? The concept of virtual learning or online education is not really a new concept, but and it's considered to be innovative, considered to be the next generation learning and teaching modality. But because I think in the past, just doing this technology overhaul it's difficult, and a lot of faculty, professors, instructors, and teachers find it intimidating to even just speak in front of a camera instead of in front of students.
Yeah.
So I think definitely, you see, I'm hopeful. I think, right, when students can get back to their normal school life, but you're going to see on the teaching and learning side, we can actually, a lot of things we do, hard work, right, building all this, reinventing education overnight. But a lot of this infrastructure we build now, I think we can definitely keep building on it and take advantage of it.
If you're camera shy this last year, it was definitely hard to hide. Ying Lu, thank you from NYU. Thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely. Thank you.